All right, camera rolling, and this is take 3. Camera rolling and action. Nope. Yeah. What is happening, beautiful people? Igama lam Usiphile, and welcome to the 12th episode of Writings on the Wall podcast. This is a platform where we try to collect writings written by those that have been there before. So, any place or stage in your life, you go through life experiences and you collect some lessons while you're at it. And so this is just a place where we say, in the canvas of life, if I can come and help out with some of the lessons and writings that I've collected, why not? In the last episode 11, I think at the end I shared a quote that I really liked it's not by him, it's a quote that he says he really believes in, and it's about change, and I ended up writing it here. And the quote reads like, when the pain of your current reality becomes greater than the fear of change, that's when it basically changes people, like I understand that as a band, we always want to change our situations. We always want to try new things, like inside you, like I wanna start going to the gym, or I wanna take on a new hobby. I wanna leave my job. I want to get into a new relationship. I want to get married. I want to have a kid, and all those things. From small to I want to wake up earlier. I want to wake up at 5:00. In this new year and stuff. And all those things require or encompass change. So it's all about, I want to change my current situation into something that I think of as better, or that I've seen has been proved by other people or other scenarios to be a better option or alternative, But, this quote just goes on to say, you might know that something is better. You might know that there's a better job out there, there's a better relationship, there's me being in this place is not good and I want something better for myself, I want to change. But knowing it is not enough, change really takes place, and this is long-term change. I'm not talking about like those New Year's resolution, I'm going to take swimming lessons and then you don't. I'm talking, or you take them for the first 2 weeks and then you don't. I'm talking about like sustainable change where you say, I want to learn how to swim, and I'm going to commit to doing it. So when has it been proved to be more effective? It's when the pain of your current reality, when it's so painful for you to stay the same, that it is greater than the fear of you changing. That's when you're ultimately going to change. That's when you're going to make a decision to say, I am going to take swimming lessons. If you almost drown and you're like, nah, I don't ever want that thing to happen again, I'm going to take swimming lessons. Those swimming lessons are more likely to be more sustainable because it's not coming from the outside, it's more internal, and the fear of drowning again will force you to kind of, commit to saying, I'm going to be taking swimming lessons every week. And so I want to talk about that because the way that I like to look at change or think of change is because someone else will say, okay, but I'm not facing any change at the moment, so why should I even watch this episode? When I would like to challenge you and say, well, I like to believe and think of change as it's not a part of life, right? It's not a part of life. It's not I go through change when I move from high school to varsity. No, change is in itself life. It's life. It's forever happening, forever taking place. And simplified, think about time. Time is ticking. Every second is ticking. There's no point where time stops. It may feel like time has stopped for you if you're in whatever situation or life experience you're in, but time does not stop. It's forever moving. And for as long as time is moving, change is taking place. So that's how I like to think of it. And that's how I try to move or navigate through life, by thinking, okay, cool, change is taking place. I might not be aware that it's happening, but it is happening. And there's another quote, man, I just forgot to write it down, about that I got from a book called Better Than Before. It says, habits change the face of our lives, and while time is changing our faces. some in life, something like that. And we may not be aware of this, but it's taking place. And so, but that's more talking about like habit formation and stuff. I'm going to be talking about change in its overall, like in its the broader concept of change in its entirety, and like transitioning through change and what is required. So yeah, that's me, right? Small things like daily routines, waking up early, to big things like I want to get married. All of them, change is in the center of it. And whenever you enter a new environment, or whenever change is present, and I said it's lifelong, right? It's forever taking place. So whenever change is present, it brings about an opportunity for something new. Let me say this again. Whenever change is present, and I said change is times like time, every second, right? Whenever change is present, change with it brings about an opportunity for something new. So, Goku, it's 6 minutes later than it was when I started this episode, right? Some things have changed. 6 minutes ago, I didn't have an episode. I didn't have a recording. I didn't have anything. I had an idea that I wanted to start recording, but now that I am recording, I have something to hold and something to show for it for the last 6 minutes. And so if I had tried to record, say if I had made a commitment to say I'm going to record with 10, dinga recording with 10, I could have easily written off the day to say, honestly, this day is done. I didn't record my episode. I'll try again tomorrow. But I looked at it and said, okay, cool. I recorded with 10. An hour passed. It's a new hour now. Can I still record? Maybe I can. 2 hours passed. It's a new hour again. Can I still record? Yes, I can. And eventually, I looked at the time and said, it's a new hour, a new opportunity for me to record something new. And that's why we have this episode today. So since now we know that this change is forever taking place, whether we recognize or not, it's also quite important for us to understand it. So we have to understand change so that we can better navigate change. It's important for us to understand life so we can better navigate life. And so because it's always happening and it is such a constant thing, we have to embrace it. You cannot fight. There's a movie, one of my favorite movies, Law Abiding Citizens. The context is used in it's crazy, but the line there that says, you cannot fight fate. And look, you can speak about fate, that's a different topic, but in this context, you cannot fight change. You cannot fight the fact that time is moving. You can't fight it, so embrace it. And once you embrace it, try to equip yourself with the tools to navigate life happening. Because if you don't happen to life, life will happen to you. If you don't do something about the time that you have, the time will be consumed by something else. It'll be consumed by you sitting and thinking about what you want to do with life while life is literally passing you by, in the most literal sense. If you would sit 10 hours and you're not doing anything because you're thinking, what can I do with my life? 10 hours of your life have passed while you are considering your life. So it's important for us to embrace it and understand that it is not a choice. It is not a choice. Listen, it is not a choice for us to embrace this thing, but it is an essential key that will unlock our personal growth. Because I get you growing, but you can either grow this way or you can grow this way. You make a choice, you grow this way. You don't make a choice, you grow this way. But you are going somewhere. It's Utheno says, I am inevitable. Time and change is inevitable. It's just about embracing it. And so change is a fundamental process of transformation. Change is a fundamental process of transformation. We have to transform. We like transforming. We like to, as humans, I think we like to feel like we're growing. I like to feel like I'm growing and changing in positive ways and moving toward the direction that is favorable to the goals I have for myself. And you might not have massive goals like everybody else, but you have an internal longing for something. It might be, I want to love someone. That's a goal. And so I will try to equip myself with everything I need to move towards changing who I currently am, because I feel like now I'm like I have a stone cold heart and I can't love somebody. Let me equip myself with everything required to help me change my current situation so that I can have the ability to love someone in the future. You get what I'm saying? That's transformation. You've transformed from the current being that you were to something that is different. Hey, this thing mustn't switch off. This thing must not switch off. Cool. Right? Because, it's a very shaky laptop. It can go off at any time. So, change involves like alterations, where you have to alter some things. Some of these things, like I said, it might just be the fact that I'm always late emsebenzini because I wake up at 5:30. And so what can I alter? Okay, let me try to wake up at 5:15. That 15 minutes can make a big difference. For people that stay in Joburg, they will know, but if you used to waking up at 15:30 and you get to work on time, if you wake up 5 minutes later, meaning that you're going to leave home 5 minutes later, you can get to work 30 minutes later because of how quickly traffic can accumulate in that 5 minutes. So it's important for us to note those things, those alterations that we need to make. Some of them don't have to be, let me throw away, this option that I have. It's about altering the current thing that you do have in order for it to meet the needs required by this change that's taking place in your life. Cool. We understand that part. And so there's a subtle shift, and then you have your major things, like I said. Daily what, and then daily routines, and then major life changes. And so I wanna share quickly before this becomes a theoretical conversation of change. I wanna share a story, my story. Drink your water, by the way. I hope that was not audible. I really hope that was not audible. But anyway, drink your water. Share my story. So my school life. So I went to school at Gqonqa, and my primary school had a high school, which means I knew the same people from grade 1 up until matric, because we, same class, abanye, but it was like existing within same circles and whatnot. And my wish, I remember when I was in matric, I was like, now what I want to do for varsity, I want to move to a different province, a different school where people are not going to know me so that I can start afresh. Yeah? Cool. I was fortunate enough to get accepted in Cape Town. So I moved to Cape Town after matric, moved, and I didn't really know anyone when I got to Rez. I didn't know anyone actually when I got to Rez. There were people that were from my hometown, but I didn't know them prior to me meeting them there. Get to varsity, and I got what I wanted, which is get into an environment and like a change in scenery. But I also found many things, like I was met with so many culture shocks. Meeting people who speak different languages, people from all over the world, literally like from all over the world. People from different socioeconomic backgrounds, and their realities were so different. But finding myself having to speak Isingesi because of this language barrier, something I never had to do before that. Like in the school in Ntedisxhosa, I grew up in Ntedisxhosa, now suddenly I have to speak English for a conversation. That was crazy for me, cool. I had to deal with that as well. But so in high school and primary school, academically, I was doing fairly well. I got decent results that landed me in university. And then all this passed, so I was cool. I worked hard when it was necessary, and it would result in like decent results. I was a very lazy person, to be honest. Like looking back, I used to be very lazy. I was very last minute, still am, very last minute, but I was able to get through so many things. So fine. Got to varsity. Got through first semester. First semester was wrapped up. We were doing semester courses. Then I went home. I think I took a bus or flight. Can't remember. Went home, and as I got home, I remember getting home and funny messages, like got on my phone, so many messages. Might have been a flight because why was I offline? Or maybe my phone died on the way. Get past, I don't know. Anyway, get home. It's like June, July. Getting messages, bruh. Many messages from like different people from Cape Town. Hi, if you need any help, just let me know. I have notes that I can send you. Yeah, bro. Hey, what's your student number again? Hey, bro. Yeah, bro. I'm very confused. I'm like, what is going on here? I just got home. Literally, like I just got home and packed my bags. I hadn't even unpacked in Patlazam. So I'm like, what's going on here? And then I get to a message that says, hey, have you checked the results? I'm like, no. They're like, you got a sub. I had a supplementary exam for psychology. Yo. Hey, hey. I don't know what to do at that point. Yeah, well, fine, cool. To my mom, hey, moms, I need to go back. And the supplementary, I think, is in a day or is in like 2 days or something. It's in 2 days. It was in 2 days. I'm like, yo, I don't know what to do. The good for my next supplementary exam, and I have to go back to Cape Town. Cool, booked a bus. I think was around 3 or 4 a bus. Bus, you have to go back to Cape Town. Took the bus, went back to Cape Town. On the way, I have to study on my phone because all my textbooks left them in Cape Town. Now I'm studying on the way there, got there, Xeni or something. Cape Town is far from King Williamstown. So got there, study again, finalize, blah, 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 go ride. Fortunately, I paused. And I remember on the way to Cape Town, I was scared. Like my mind, even though I was studying, but my mind was racing because I was like, yo, if I fail, like all I thought about was what's going to happen if I fail, if I have to repeat this thing. And in health sciences, we did semester courses in first year, first semester courses, second semester courses. And if you fail a first semester course, you're not going to sit out second semester and do it again next year with a new group. You go to the special program that runs for a year. So it runs from second semester up until next second semester. So for a year. So you're doing a 6-month course, but over 12 months. And you're getting extra support and whatnot. And it was spoken about in such a negative way that I was like, this is the one thing that I don't want to be part of. Or like, I don't ever want to end up here. Hey, bruh. And I was like, if this thing happens to me, what am I going to do? How am I going to navigate? I'm not ready for it. Yeah, bro. Cool, I passed. Sharp. Got into the second semester, got through first year, got through second year. Then again in third year. Third year, we're doing whole year courses. Whole year courses. And looking back, I think third year might have been the most challenging year of my life. Not only academically, just overall, academically, socially, mentally, that's the year I experienced a burnt out. I didn't even know it was a burnout, but like go to the hospital type of burnout. I think it was a burnout looking back because, like body just shutting down, and when they do run tests, they can't find anything except for like high BP and temperatures and stuff. But yeah, failed module there. And yeah, I remember when I got the result. Also there, I got a sub. Had to write the sub. Failed the module. And I remember when I got the results, I was in such a bad space. The very same time that I got the thingy to say that I have a sub, I also got another one saying I'm going to get financially excluded because my fees were not paid in full. So I'm fighting 2 battles here, the sub battle and this financial exclusion battle. But yeah, right, I fail, and I felt like my world had come to an end. I didn't know what to do to process what I was feeling. Yeah, it was, yeah. Thinking back, like it was a very dark time. It was a very dark time, and I mean, failing, especially in university, it's people talk about that they fail all the time, right? Repeating modules all the time. But for me, it didn't feel like it's just another day. It felt like my life had come to an end. It felt like the idea or the perception that I had of myself had to die because I was no longer the you can be lazy last minute and still get through. Yeah, yeah. A lot of ideas that I had of myself, I felt like had to die or felt like they were dying. A future that I had planned and anticipated from the moment I got to university, even before, was suddenly very blurry. Felt like I was in a room and I was like, I could see my future, and someone just switched the lights off. Yeah, bro. Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. And for 2 years following that, because the year I had to repeat, third year and fourth year, very tough. Not academically, but tough for myself personally, as it felt like I was in the wrong place. Like I think every passing moment felt like I was in the wrong place. It was like, if I had a time machine, it felt like I had traveled to a year that I wasn't supposed to be in. And for 2 years, 2 whole years, 2 years with some change, it just felt like I was in the wrong place the whole time. And I was a year behind, This is not where I'm supposed to be, The year that I completed the third year for the second time, graduation was approaching. And I remember having these ideas of, yo, dude, I wish I could. Imagine I could, because there was a time that I would study like the fourth year content, and I'd be like, imagine I could just go and write, I could just go write this fourth year exam and pass it, and then it's like, oh my gosh, we never thought it could happen and stuff. Very delusional, but it was thoughts that were in my head and were very much alive. And it went on. Fourth year, the year that I was in fourth year, I was like, this is the year that I was meant to start working, And so it was tough. It was bad, man. It was really terrible. For the people that are around me, they wouldn't have been able to pick it up. There were some times that I would express that I felt like I'm in the wrong place. And I had my friends that were still in varsity, but somehow for me, felt like I was in the wrong place. And that went on until the time that I got to Joburg. And I think that's when things really clarified. They became clear about, actually, if things hadn't worked out the way that they did, I wouldn't be where I am right now. I would actually be in a different place, which would have meant I would have taken a different path, and who knows what that would have looked like. But when I got here, I was like, this makes sense. This is actually where I'm supposed to be. It makes sense why I had to go through that. But it was 2 years where I was stuck in a certain place in my life, and I could just not accept the fact that change had taken place, and I just needed to transition into this new reality that was clearly and evidently happening around me. Mentally, I was still stuck on the what if, and things were not going to change at that point. They had been set in stone to say this happened. You just have to be able to navigate through it. And so, being so, because I remember the feelings, man. I'm just like when I think about the feelings and like all the stuff I was feeling then, I don't think I knew. Not even I don't think I knew. I know for a fact I didn't know what I was feeling. But there was a lot of uncertainty, there was a lot of uncertainty. There was a lot of anxiety because what does this new reality look like? I can see, like I said, I can see that change has happened, but what does it look like? It's like, for me, I don't know. I didn't plan for this. And so very uncertain for most of the time, very anxious because I don't know what tomorrow looks like. I don't know what this thing means, and excuse me. And some of that anxiety was actually triggered by thinking, but I have to answer questions to people. Abandu have to, they keep asking, some people didn't even ask, they just assumed that I was in fourth year because they saw me rolling with the fourth year, my friends from fourth year still. And they assumed, and I was like, it makes me anxious because now what do I say? Do I tell them that, no, actually I'm not graduating this year, or do I just keep it at this? Because if I don't tell them that I'm not graduating. They're going to ask, why am I not graduating? And it's going to be very complicated. And so I was very anxious for most of the time. I didn't want to be asked questions about school. I preferred to speak about everything else but the fact that I was repeating the year and that I was not graduating at the end of of that year. So yeah, a lot of anxiety, a lot of uncertainty, and another feeling I would say this one is, it might sound a bit wild, but it was the feeling of like grief. And I once heard about this concept, or was introduced to it a couple of years ago, like I think a video on TikTok speaking about sometimes when a relationship ends, it's not, the reason it's painful is not that it's ending, right? It's because you have to grieve the potential future. And that's what I felt. I felt like I was grieved for 2 years. Like I said, I felt like I was being forced to grieve the future that I pictured in my head and the plans that I had. I'm a person who plans from A to Z. Try to minimize room for error. Understand that error could take place. Not even understand, I know it can take place, but I try to minimize it as much as I can. And so this felt like I needed to literally grieve this potential future that I had in my head and what it looked like, and understand, but it's gone. Now I have to mold a new one, bruh. Ooh, ooh. No one taught me how to grieve a future, But I mean, I didn't even know I had to grieve something then, but I knew that I was being forced to accept a new reality that I did not want to accept. I needed to accept the death of a reality that I had, and I wasn't ready to, even though it was not going to change and time was moving on. But for me, internally, I just didn't want to. And I think it's a very common feeling when you're going through change. It feels like you are grieving the old thing. You are grieving your old self, and I'm not in this case, and I'm not even referring to like your smaller change, like your routine based changes, like I have to wake up at 5:00 instead of 5:30. Those are like, it might be difficult because it's inconvenient, it's colder or whatever, but I'm referring to now I have to quit this job and start a new job now, or I have to quit this job and be unemployed. It feels like you are grieving a reality that you've always known. Now you have to move on to a new environment that has new opportunities, and you have to you are basically walking into the unknown, and it's tough. It's tough, Kukula saying it, sometimes it's better the devil you know than the one you don't know, and that's what it might feel like sometimes. But hey, it's bad. It's bad, clear relationship. It's bad, situation that I'm in right now, but I'm not willing to grieve it. I don't want to let it go, because what does the future have in store? Not recognizing the fact that you are going to change, things are going to change. They might change for the better, or they might change and get worse. So grief was a big one for me. I felt it physically, felt it mentally, felt it daily. I don't want to wake up. I think about what could have been all the time. I would, yeah. I was so stuck on this idea that I had in my head that I just didn't want to move on, and I was also very resistant to change. Like, I was so resistant, it was mad. I don't to this day understand why I was so hell bent on maintaining this future, because it's not like things would have worked out that way anyway, but I was like, this is what I know, this is what I knew. I can't let it go. Why must I accept something that was done to me? And that's when I actually realized, now that I think about it, I think that was the point where, that's what I realized, is that at that point, I just didn't want to take responsibility of the fact that I also had a contribution to what transpired. Let me actually say I had a contribution. I was responsible for what transpired. I could have done things to prevent it, but I didn't. I could have navigated the year a lot better than I did, but I didn't. I left things to chance, and obviously if you leave things to chance, it might work out, it might not work out. And in my case, it didn't work out. So I didn't want to take responsibility for it. I felt like things had been done to me, and that takes away power from you, because it feels like there's nothing you can do to change it, So yeah, I think that was it. And I was very overwhelmed, and I felt like I just didn't have control over my life anymore. And this is And these are all like common feelings and thoughts, if you think about change, like these are all very common. Like if you think about, I'm moving into a new job, and people tell me, when you start a new job, you don't understand the culture, you don't know the people. People will stab you in the back, people will blah blah and all this other stuff. And there's nothing I can do to to change that, or to counteract or navigate the situation. When I get there and the boss is terrible, or get into a relationship, what if the person is mean? What if they don't understand me? What if I have to tell them about my needs and they don't listen to me and whatnot? And it almost feels like you don't have any control over what transpires in your life or what takes place. And that's what change can potentially, those are them feelings that change can potentially bring about, getting stuck in the past, like I said, being overwhelmed by the thoughts of things that could take place, or the fact that you don't know as much as you think, as much as you would like to know. Get very overwhelmed to a place where you might shut down. Very common. Also, there's positive things though to change, like I said, opportunities for growth. It's a space where you can be very excited, and you can be like, you're excited and you're anticipating something new and stuff. But in my case, that's not what I experienced at all. And so the main thing that I had, like I said, was a resistance to change, and that didn't allow me to transition into the new reality. And change and transition are things that are very closely linked. Transition, change, some of them might be used, they can be used interchangeably, right? Transitioning and changing. And wait, let me have a look at this. 31 minutes. 31 minutes. Let me see. I don't know if I'm going to upload it as one episode or break it into two. Might just upload it as one episode, dude. If people want to listen to it in segments, that's cool. If they want to listen to it one way, then it's cool. So I like to think of change as, transition and change, right? The relationship between the two. Some people use it interchangeably, and honestly, you can. It's not that deep. But for me, I like to think of change as like the overall idea, like it's a broader concept, changing a job, changing a relationship, having a baby, blah, 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 all those, broader, it's much broader. And then transition as a process, it's like a bridge that you have to walk through to get from the current self to the new self that you want to be. So in order for you to become this new version of yourself, you have to transition. So you have to walk through this bridge to get to this new version, and hopefully a better version of who you are. And so that's how I like to think about it. So change, like I said, high school to university, or single to marriage, marriage to single, no kids to kids, whatever, bachelor to husband, etc. And then transition as more of the process that you have to undergo to be able to navigate the change that has taken place in your life. And so if you don't if you don't go through this process, then you won't be equipped enough to go fight the new battles that you are going to be facing. But in more money, more problems. And more money, more problems is that you had 0 rand and now you have 1 million rand in your bank account. If you don't go through, if you're not helped or assisted with the transition, this is the process of you being able to manage 0 rand to managing 1 million, then you're going to mismanage the money. So on the way, while you're crossing this bridge, you need to equip yourself with money management skills, financial advisor, and everything else. So that's the transition. It's a process where you undergo to become the version that is required by the change that has taken place. And many things are critical or crucial when it comes to this transition. You need a change in your mindset. Change in your mindset. Someone needs to help you internally. Whether you do it, you have to decide by yourself. You know what? I need assistance when it comes to my mindset, and it needs to change. So in that transition, you need a different mindset. You need to have a very good grip in your identity of self. So who you are. You need to know who you are so that you know what skills you need or require that will be required in this new task, skills that you don't have, so that you can equip yourself in order for you to go fight these new battles that are coming in this new battlefield, right? So your perception of self, and also the expectations expectations that you will have of yourself, and understand the expectations required by this new reality that you're embarking on. So right now, you are 18, you're young. Oh, yeah, I'm happy, blah, blah. You can go out partying every night without getting tired. Suddenly, and you maintain that thing, that activity, and that behavior. And then suddenly, you're like, I can't party every night. And I used to be able to party every night without having to do anything. Suddenly, you have to supplement that partying every night with, Red Bull or any energy drinks and stuff. And, that's what it's the expectation from you now is for you to rest at that new age. Maybe now you're 21, you have to rest a bit more. But you don't, because you're still acting like you're 18. It's going to catch up with you. And so managing those expectations, and also like just external stuff like your environment, what does a new environment actually require of you? What does a new work environment require of you? Are you supposed to be more vocal, be more assertive, or you're supposed to be softer in this new environment, or you're supposed to be more articulate, or whatever it is? Understand what the environment, understand the change in the environment, and understand the change that is taking place within self, so you can manage both, and then it will help you navigate those two. And so I want to talk just to wrap up this episode. Actually, I like this episode. Just to wrap it up, because spoken about a couple of things, feelings that you might feel while you're navigating that change, and feelings and challenges that I, in my situation, I was faced with. It was obviously like a big thing. The story that I shared was changed in a very massive context. And I wasted 2 years. Isn't that 2 years? I could literally have done so much more. And so how do you then, Usiphile, you've spoken about other challenges, you've spoken about change, you've opened this can of worms of we're always going through change. So now I'm going to be so conscious and overly conscious about change that is taking place in my life, in my relationships, and, all the different aspects and fields and corners of who I am. So then how do I navigate them? I would say the first thing, one of the most important things, is embrace that there is a change in mindset required. Go back to when I received my result. Bro, you have failed this module, you have to repeat it. I go, friend. I'm like, oh my gosh, bro. Like, I'm sad, down, I have to call my family, tell them, blah, blah, financial implications, etc., etc., etc. Cool. Once I'm gone through all those emotions, it's important to feel what you feel. I'm not a person that is pro-dismissing your feelings. No, don't just dismiss them because you are of this ultra positivity going around. No, feel what you're feeling. Understand, this is what I'm feeling. Cool. Then you have to embrace, Uti. Hey, I'm not happy with the current Dondon. Can I change it? I can't change it. I can't change the fact that I'm repeating this module. But I can change the process or the experience of me repeating this module. That I had all the control, full control over. And so if I had changed that mindset from the beginning, I could have, one, been more engaging in class. I could have, two, seen it as an opportunity to create better relationships with my lecturers. Three, let me do more research on the topics that I struggled with. I have more time. I had all the time because I was only doing a small number of modules. Let me go and explore these modules. I could actually become the best at these modules because I have the upper hand. I have the previous year's experience, and I get to get a second take. I know what I did wrong. I'm going to do it better this year. A change in mindset. What does this thing mean for me? For the next 2 years, I would have liked to start working next year, but I'm not going to start working next year. So what can I do to equip myself to make sure I am ready for the working world when I eventually get there? Because I will get there. It changes how I approach things. My interactions in class, my approach to going to lectures, my interactions, during the tutorials. It's like a hack. It's like a life hack, and we could both be going through a very similar situation, but you could be navigating it so much better just because you have a different mindset to the one that I do have. I might have a problem-based mindset where I try to find problems in everything I go through, or I could be solution-based where I say, this is the problem. Can I change it? No, I can't. What can I do to make sure it's a better experience for myself? Because clearly I can't. Very different. look at it as more of a opportunity versus as a threat. It's not a threat. It's an opportunity. Can be a threat, can be an opportunity. You just have to decide. If you don't decide, like I said, life will decide for you, and it will most likely make you look at it as more as a threat than anything, And then second one is stay flexible. You need to stay flexible. I mentioned earlier, I'm a person who, let me check. I'm actually surprised I've gone for 40 minutes. I'm a person that plans from A to Z without fail. I plan for this scenario, for that one, possible scenarios, I've planned for A to Z. And there's people, I also acknowledge the fact that there's people that plan for A and they live in bliss. And if B comes, B comes. If it doesn't come, then it doesn't come. They're good with whatever. Now, I know I wouldn't be able to manage with just planning for A, so I try to plan for A to Z. But what also works is being flexible. If I have a plan, this is my plan. I want to graduate by this year, by this time, and I want to start working at this time. The plans that I put in place need to have room for me to be able to adjust them and alter them. It might not have to be throw away the whole plan. Don't throw away the whole plan. Alter the plan. Okay, the plan is delayed by a year. Cool. What can I do to make it better? I have another year now to make this year, refine it and make it more solid. Let's refine it. Let's change here. Let's change here. Cool. You would have wanted to start blah, blah, blah. Okay, you're not going to do that now. So let's alter. Be flexible. And you need to have a mind. You need to adopt a mindset where you are like a creative. You creatively problem solving all the time. Like you're enjoying the process of. I mean, you might not enjoy it, but you need to be creative to be able to recognize that you don't have to throw away the whole plan. You just have to alter the plan so that it fits this new reality and this change that has taken place in your life. That's the second one. Be open to new possibilities and adjust those plans. Third one, setting realistic goals for yourself. Realistic being the operative word. By using old methods to solve new problems will never work. Having goals that align with your old self in a new body or a new reality is not going to work. So be able to say, cool, this is the goal that I had previously. This is what I've seen, and this is what this change poses in my life. Let me set more realistic goals. And people will say, you're not ambitious, right? Be ambitious, man, and be delulu sometimes. But your goals need to be realistic for them to be attainable. People speak about SMART goals all the time, specific, measurable, etc., etc. They need to be realistic. So if you have your goals, something that I found to be quite helpful as well, is if I have a goal that this is what I do by the end of the year, break it down into smaller chunks. Last year, I had a goal, like a weight gain goal of what I wanted to weigh by the end of the year. Then I was like, this looks like it could be a lot. Then I was like, break it down into months. Broke it down into months. Cool. Still quite a bit, but, can you do it? It's more possible now than if you think about the end goal. Cool, now break it down into weeks. Broke it down into 2 weeks. Suddenly it becomes more attainable and more achievable. And I have a positive mindset towards that goal now to be like, oh, I can actually do this. And I could track it to say, this is how far I've gone. Great, tick. Whereas I didn't have to wait for 12 months to see that I've achieved the goal. I could just look at my weekly goals to say, this is my goal for this week. Check. Oh, I'm making progress towards this goal. And it allows you to then, you're taking manageable steps as opposed to say, I want to have 1 million. Okay, dog. You have 0 at the moment. How are you going to get to 1 million? Make it attainable. I want to make $100 from this thing, from this Rubik's Cube. You make $100. Cool. Can I make 1,000? Can I do it 10 times? Make 1,000? Cool. Can I make 10,000? Okay. And that's how you're going to gradually get to the goal. Ultimate goal and long-term goal is 1 million, obviously, but like break it down, make it into smaller chunks. And that allows you to deal with the new change. So like I said, back to that thing of like, don't throw away the whole plan. Be like, hey, this is a new environment. I'm in a new city right now. What do I want to achieve? In my old city, there was this, and that was possible. But now I'm in a different city. Can I still apply the same things? And if the places or cities are not identical, even if they are identical, are these goals realistic for this environment than the other one? And if they're not, let me try to create goals that will align with this environment, because otherwise it will feel like you're in the wrong place and it will feel like you made the wrong choice. And it may not be that you made the wrong choice. It's just that you are applying and setting goals that are not applicable to the environment you're in right now or the new reality that your life is. That's the third one. And then fourth one, cultivating resilience. Episode 10 on this platform was about resilience. Spoke to Adrian for like an hour and 10 minutes about resilience. What it is. Resilience is not stopping. Resilience, think about this. Think about this. You get into a fight with someone and that person says, cool, now we're fighting, we're beefing, we're in the ring, or in the street, fist fight. The person says, I will not stop fighting you until one of us RIPs. That is probably the scariest thing you can ever hear from anyone. The person doesn't want a knockout. They don't want a pin. They don't want a submission. They want what they committed to one of you guys RIPing. It's a very dark example, but that person has resilience that, so you being stronger is not going to work there because they are not stopping. You either have to kill them or they kill you. So you need to be so strong that you keep them from killing you for as long as forever. Because for them, their end goal is to see you underground. Until then, they will not stop. That's what resilience is. You don't stop. You just keep going. You get into difficult situations to make yourself stronger so that you can keep going. I recorded 10 episodes last year. That was not the objective and the goal, obviously. I wanted to record an episode a week. Means I would have made about 48 because I started end of Jan, beginning of Feb. Would have been like 48 episodes. 48? Yeah, 48, 47 episodes. I didn't record every week. I didn't even post every month. And I ended up at 10 episodes. And I had an option. I remember discussing it in that episode with Adrian to say, I had an option. I could be the person who has 9 episodes. I failed. Or I'm like, I failed. I didn't do what I needed to do. But I'm not going to stop until I see it through. Until this platform becomes what I envisioned in my head. And that's what resilience is. You don't stop. You just keep going. You may not be consistent, but you will not stop. It's someone that they know is always going to show up. And I'm still going to show up. I'm recording the 12th episode now. Yes, it's months later. I double-checked, by the way. Last episode was on the 16th of September. I double-checked. It's months later. It's fine. Is it great? Maybe not for engagement and algorithm and stuff, but I'm not going to stop. I get to try again, and I'm going to be resilient, and I'm going to show it, And so you have to cultivate basically a mindset of resilience. You need to understand that life will always come with setbacks. And those setbacks might not be the point. They'll never be. I can't say there's ideal setbacks. There's less traumatic setbacks than other ones, but setback is a setback. You wanted to be 2 steps ahead, and now you are pushed 2 steps backwards. So nobody wants it, but you need to be able to resilience. Understand setback is just an opportunity for you to bounce back. They say, what's the trampoline thing or a sling? When you're gonna do a slingshot, you have to pull the thing back before you let it. If the further you want it to go, the further forward you want it to go, the further back you have to pull it, and that's a rule of it. So just look at it, see it as an opportunity for, okay, the setback is happening. I just need to learn something from it, and it's sharpening me. It's sharpening me and equipping me for greater and higher heights. Because otherwise, if this thing was clearly, this thing is not as easy as I thought. Because if it was easy, then nobody would be failing, right? So, fifth one, quickly, just build a support system, have a supporting network of friends, man. Like, you need people around you that will support you, that will make you understand that even they are going through changes, and people don't really talk about the changes they go through because they don't recognize them as they're happening. They'll see them months later. Like, people who go to the gym. People who go to the gym will tell you, I have been going to the gym for 2 months, I have not seen a result, and then suddenly you see something, month 3, month 4. And you're like, oh, snap, that's what's happening, And so if people understand that change is a constant thing and it's always there, they acknowledge it, then we can talk about it and discuss it. How do we navigate? Okay, now I don't know this territory. I've never been in this place before. Please help me. Have you been in this place? No. Okay, were you something similar? Yes. How have you navigated it? What has helped for you? So building the support system is quite important. Practice self-care. Take care of yourself, dude. Take care of your physical and mental well-being. I do understand and know that in the last episode, even now, I have not fully recovered. I was a bit sick, and I recorded regardless, and I'm recording regardless. And my reason for that is not because I'm not taking care of myself, my body. I just know that these things have happened before, and whenever I get sick while I'm on a roll, or I'm getting into a rhythm, it sets me back far further than I need to. And so this time around, I'm like, this is such a coincidence that I wanted to record now, and suddenly I get sick so randomly. Maybe it's just my physical manifestation of fear and whatever. So, but take care of yourself, your physical and your mental well-being. You're not just a physical being. You're not just a mental being either. Take care of both, and make sure that the mental states you are in and the physical states you are in match the requirements required by the new place and stage in your life that you're in. We're getting older every day. We're supposed to make sure that we're ready for those changes and for that aging. There's a concept, in health called active aging, where the older people that, I'm probably going to butcher this, but it's active aging. Being active while you're aging, and not accepting the fact that, I'm getting older, so let me just sit and watch TV all day, or I've retired, there's nothing I'm going to do. This is what my life needed to look like anyway. Nope. Be active. You still want to be able to pick up your grandkids. You still want to be able to kick the ball with your grandkids or your kids. You still want to be able to go run. Take care of yourself, body yourself, dress yourself. And so take care of that body, take care of that physical. Starting a new job, what does it require? Shoot, I have to go up a flight of stairs in this new job. It's an example. Small example, but I need to then be fit for me to be able to maintain the level of fitness required to go up and down the stairs every day, 16 times a day. Or mentally, I'm in a space where people are very toxic and they don't really care. They're not going to initiate you taking care of yourself. They're not going to be say, I feel like I've given you too much work. Let me step back. They're going to keep, giving it to you. I need to mentally prepare for that and make sure that I'm fit enough. And then most important, learn to adapt. Adapt. They say adapt or die. Adapt or die. Thing of change, it's an ongoing process. It's forever ongoing. It's never going to change. It's ongoing. It's constantly taking place. And so understand that and always equip yourself with the skills required for you to adapt. Adapt or die, literally. If you don't adapt, you die. For 2 years, I did not want to adapt. And I lost quite a lot at that time. Lost out on so many opportunities. And yes, I was able to get through both years, but it could have been a very different experience. And I was very close to losing myself. And so, just losing you're losing the idea of who, just losing a sense of reality. I was very close. My reality was warped. It was very warped, and thank God I had the podcast also. I had a podcast then. So, that also helped to keep me in check with what was happening around me. And so, adapt, dude. Adapt. Recognize change as soon as it takes place. But if you can't change it, don't try to fight a battle that you're going to lose. Use that energy to try and adapt and learn new skills and better equip yourself and be stronger for this new environment and new requirements from you. So, this is the longest episode I've done individually. I'm not too part of changing, part of growing. I'm not too, because I was like, maybe I should cut it. I'm actually not too fussy. I'm not going to be too fussy about it. I'm not going to be too fussy about it, dude. It's a new year. And ultimately, something that I learned also in episode 10 is, if I'm not a big podcaster. I have 50 something subscribers on YouTube. At best, I have like 100 and something views, 80, averaging probably at 60, 50. So yeah, like I don't think the objective is to have people. Yeah, I have 1,000 listeners and stuff. I wanna. My main focus is is delivering substance, and delivering content that makes sense and that is going to be helpful for the people, for the person consuming it. Even if it's one person who was able to listen through this whole episode, I'm good with that. I'll record the next one because this was just me imparting what I do know, and I'll keep imparting the things that I do know. And so, yeah. With that being said, since we're all facing changes, right? Some bigger than others, and I'm pretty sure you are too. You are facing some change, experiencing some change, and if you are, please share. Please share. You can follow. I'll put it up on the video. Usiphile on the platform is the Instagram page for the podcast. So you can send it there or follow on YouTube or on YouTube and leave a comment, or I'm gonna upload it on Spotify and the other streaming places. If they do have a comment section, just leave a comment. Speak about your experiences. If you want to be a guest, come through and speak about whatever transition that you have gone through or you are going through. The door is open. The door is open. Come through. You have a very unique story to tell, and it may be unique, but it's also a story that could be very helpful for someone going through something similar. Unique in that it's not identical, but it could be similar. And no matter how insignificant you might think it will definitely make a difference, I'm telling you. And there's this trend going on TikTok now about special gifts or talents that you have that people think is weird. And whenever I see whenever I go to the comment section, people are like, oh my gosh, I thought I was, crazy or weird for being the person who does this. It makes me feel so much better knowing that there's somebody else who can do the same thing. And that's the impact and the effect that sharing the story can have and will have. So yeah, episode 12, Usiphile on the platform, Writings on the Wall, is done and wrapped. Let me see you again on episode 13. Don't forget to share your story. Please share it, comment, like, subscribe, share, blah blah, whatever. And yeah, man, I don't know who needs to hear this. I don't know who needs to hear this. I may not know you personally, and I don't know who you are, but I just really hope that it reaches you.